raging wildfire is tearing through the Costa Brava tonight, having already scorched more than 2,300 hectares of Catalan forest, with fire chiefs warning the true scale of the disaster could still be far larger than what has already burned. What began as a routine roadside repair near La Bisbal de Empordà on Friday morning has escalated into one of the most dangerous fire emergencies Girona province has faced in years, and one that experts say fits a troubling new pattern in how wildfires behave. The blaze broke out around 9:17 that morning near La Bisbal de Empordà, roughly 20 kilometers inland from the Costa Brava's coastline. Investigators believe it was sparked by an angle grinder used improperly at the roadside, though the exact circumstances are still being examined since sparks from this kind of work can ignite dry vegetation within seconds on a day of extreme fire risk. Within hours, tinder-dry vegetation combined with gusting tramontana winds turned that spark into a wall of fire racing into the ecologically sensitive Les Gavarres mountains, a 350 square kilometer forested corridor separating Baix Empordà from Girones. Officials have described the blaze as a textbook example of what firefighting experts now call a sixth-generation fire, a category marked by rapid spread, enormous destructive power, and unpredictable behavior that makes traditional firefighting tactics far less effective. The head of the Catalan Fire Service, David Borrell, has warned that the fire's right flank and leading edge could push toward built-up coastal areas, and that the pyrocumulus cloud generated by the fire's own heat needs close monitoring, since such clouds can dramatically alter how a wildfire behaves.
Está muy cerca de donde yo vivo. Es horroroso ver todo esto. Es muy triste porque la verdad es que da muchísima pena tan cerca como lo tenemos. Ojalá no haya sido provocado, pero da mucha pena.
By Friday evening, the situation had spiraled well beyond initial estimates. Firefighters watched as the flames repeatedly broke through containment lines, driven by winds that showed no sign of easing. Ferran Garcia, head of firefighting operations in the Girona region, acknowledged that the fire may have outgrown crew's ability to fully extinguish it, and that the priority now is containment and damage limitation rather than a quick knockout. Roughly 45,000 residents across a dozen municipalities have been confined to their homes, told to shut doors and windows as smoke columns rising 4 to 5 kilometers into the sky blanket the region. Around 40,000 people in the area also received ES Alert mobile phone warnings due to the reach of local cell towers. Calonge I Sant Antoni, Castell d'Aro, Platja d'Aro I Sagaro, Cruïls, Manels I Sant Sadurní de El Hura, Santa Cristina d'Aro, Llagostra, Forallac, and La Bisbal de Empordà itself are among the towns under lockdown, with roughly 9,700 to 10,000 people confined at the height of the emergency across 7 of those municipalities. More than 100 residents of the Val Repos urbanization in Santa Cristina d'Aro have already been evacuated as flames drew closer to homes, and a neighborhood in Cruïls has also been cleared as a precaution. In a tense scene, around 70 children from a holiday camp in Romanya de la Selva were moved to safety at the Espai Ridora shelter in Santa Cristina d'Aro, while another group of roughly 150 children at a nearby facility spent the day sheltering indoors under close supervision. Authorities have confirmed that every one of these children is safe. The blaze in La Bisbal is not the only fire crews are contending with in Girona province. A second, separate fire near Vilavenut has forced residents of Vilavenut and Palau de la Farga to stay indoors as well, advancing through farmland and being fought with aerial support, ground units, and tractors plowing fire breaks to slow its spread. Emergency services have had to split resources between the two incidents even as the main La Bisbal fire continues to demand the bulk of their attention. The response on the ground has been substantial. More than 400 firefighters, supported by dozens of helicopters and water-bombing aircraft, are battling the blaze around the clock. Spain's military emergency unit has sent close to 200 soldiers and 60 vehicles to reinforce local crews, a deployment Catalan officials requested directly from Madrid, given the scale of the threat. Several roads have been closed entirely, including the C66 near Palafrugell, an 11-kilometer stretch of the GI 660 between La Bisbal de Empordà and Calonge, the GI 513 between Cornellà del Terri and Vilademals, and the GIV 6612 between Llagostra and Calonge. Catalan police have arrested a man on suspicion of causing the fire through recklessness. According to the regional government, he was an operator repositioning a road sign at the time, and investigators are now seeking information from the road maintenance contractor to determine whether safety protocols were followed. The arrest came despite the fact that mechanical work of this kind was already banned under a Level 3 Alpha Plan fire warning in effect across the region due to extreme drought conditions. Catalan President Salvador Illa has urged residents to follow every instruction from emergency services precisely, while officials in Barcelona are asking people, particularly second home owners, to avoid traveling toward Baix Empordà, Girona, and Pla de l'Estany altogether so firefighting operations and road access for emergency vehicles are not disrupted. Spain's Prime Minister, Pedro Sánchez, has also weighed in, urging the public to exercise maximum caution as high temperatures are expected to persist in the coming days. Meteorologists warn that the coming hours will be pivotal. Overnight, the Tramontana wind is expected to keep blowing, which complicates aerial firefighting but gives ground crews a window to push forward while conditions allow. Officials fear that once the sea breeze takes over from the Tramontana in the afternoon, extinguishing efforts could become dramatically more difficult, and the fire is expected to reach the Puig d'Arques area in the hours ahead. Fire chiefs are bracing for the possibility that the total burned area could balloon to somewhere between 7,000 and 8,000 hectares if the fire's right flank breaks through toward the coast and nearby built-up areas. This is not an isolated event. Spain, along with neighboring France and Portugal, is simultaneously battling multiple wildfires after weeks of record-breaking heat left vegetation bone dry across the region. Portugal has gone so far as to request international assistance to fight blazes raging in its north. France has just recorded its hottest June since national records began in 1947, with temperatures topping 40 degrees Celsius in more than a third of the country, and heat-related deaths have been reported there as well. Scientists point to this broader pattern as consistent with climate change, which is understood to increase the intensity, frequency, and duration of the extreme heat that fuels wildfires like the one now threatening the Costa Brava.
Ui, això pinta malament,
If you found this coverage valuable, please consider subscribing to Storm Strike for continued reporting on this wildfire and other developing weather events. We'd also appreciate a like on this video and clicking the bell icon so you're notified as soon as new updates are published. Please share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you are in the affected region, we welcome any first-hand observations you're able to share.